there you go. Rock Island Armory M206 38 Special. Functionality, good, as long as you don't block the hammer. During the late 1990s and the early 2000s, most of the law enforcement agencies in the United States began to transition into steel or polymer framed 9mm 40 Smith & Wesson or 45 ACP handguns for their duty carry. But if you jump back about 30 years, some of the more popular handguns were revolvers. And if you know the Smith & Wesson M&P series that's very popular today with their M&P 9 or their Shield series, these guns came from the military and police line, which were revolvers during the 70s. One of the guns that was very interesting was the Colt Detective Special, which was marketed by Colt towards plainclothes police officers and detectives. And it was a really cool gun, a 2-inch barrel 38 Special revolver with 6 rounds. I was very interested in this gun, and there was a time in my life when I considered purchasing one. But the price range is pretty high for them. Market nowadays is usually around $500 to $600 for one of these handguns. And they're no longer in production, so you have to buy them used. But I found that Armscor, a Filipino company marketing under the Rock Island Armory brand, produces a clone of the Colt Detective Special, and they call it the M206. And I purchased this gun because I really like the Colt Detective Special. Today's the first day that I'll be shooting it, and I wanted to give you guys a little look at it. Should be 6. Whew, smoking barrel. Wow. Has an interesting recoil actually. It's a lot different than my 9mm. It kind of has more muzzle flip to it than the 9mm does. Probably because of the short barrel. I have like a almost 4-inch barrel on my 9mm Rose. This is like just over 2 inches. But yeah, it shoots well. Have one more. Definitely having some struggle with the accuracy. Let's I'm gonna try some close up. I'm gonna try them one-handed as if I had to draw. So I'm gonna try drawing from my go bag that I'm working on and just see how it works out. It's a little bit stiff. If you notice on there, something I noticed, I gripped up on it right here. If you can see, my grip was right here. And when I pulled back, it kind of short-stroked it, and so it didn't actually fire on one of them, I think. Yeah, that was weird. All right. So we had a fun time today. As you can tell, we went through a lot of rounds. This is just what we shot today. I think this is a pretty good amount of shots to be able to give a quick review of the gun and maybe give my first impressions about it. Just got it back from the range today. I don't have the total round count, but I'd say it's probably just over 100 if I had to guess. But I wanted to give you a quick review to let you know what I thought of it and what I think of it as far as value goes for either concealed carry gun or just a fun revolver. One of the things I wanted to note is that we used several different types of ammunition today. We used some of this 158 grain round nose by Freedom Munitions. These are remanufactured rounds. We also used some of these, which were 158 grain semi-wad cutter lead, also by Freedom Munitions, and those were brand new manufacture. And I used some of this 130 grain 38 Special from Winchester, just the regular white box. I think the Winchester and these remanufacturers shot pretty similarly. Both of them shot really well, didn't really have any problems with them. The lead, if you saw in the video, the lead was a little bit smoky. I would say, other than that, it shot just as well as the other, just had a lot more smoke. The biggest trouble I think with this gun is learning how to be accurate with it. I noticed that, I think maybe part of it was the sight picture that I was using was not quite lined up. If you can see, I actually took some white nail polish from my wife and painted up the front post. And that gives a lot better picture for me. And I think that holding that picture as well as getting a good grip on the gun are the two things that I'll have to practice to get proficient with it. So I don't want to bore you guys too much, so I just want to quickly go over my pros and cons. First of all, pros, I really like the fit and finish. I like the construction. There's not a lot of wiggle in the cylinder. The hammer locks back really nicely, and the single action trigger is extremely crisp. You can see right here. I like the feel of it. It feels great in hand actually. It's very palmable. The price at $242 is great, and it was very reliable during our testing. There were no issues that we had that were not due to user error. As far as the cons go, I'd say the main con that I have has to do with the platform itself. This small little pistol is very hard to be accurate with. There's a lot of muzzle flip after every shot, a lot of vertical muzzle flip. Also, it's very difficult to get a good grip on here. You have to kind of like really focus on getting your grip steady before you fire. And also the sight picture, it took both of us, my wife and I, some trouble to get it lined up. And so those things are kind of some cons. Definitely it would take you some practice to get used to, but at this price point I think it's a good buy.